what involves classified information.
What's going on, people? I'm listening to this bullshit on the radio. The latest bullshit with this bullshit asshole in the presidency. I will talk about music, but it's been a while. I haven't bitched for a while, but the things that we're dealing with, because that man shouldn't be in office. Right quick, this is a real this is a real endorsement. It's like it's not paid. You see that I drink coffee regularly. I love it. This is the kind that I like. Pears, particularly the cinnamon nut swirl. It's my favorite. I do drink other coffees, but this is my favorite, and it's the one that I gravitate to. I want to share with you a little bit about some music. Rune Grammofon were very kind to send me some of their latest releases. I love the label. I love the aesthetic. I see a bit of a parallel between the way they're doing things and ECM. The label has a look, for sure. The music is always interesting. So they sent me 3 CDs and a motorcycle album. I spoke about the motorcycle album, and now I'll talk about the CDs. They sent me the latest by Elephant 9. Now, I had heard of Elephant 9 before, and doing my homework before doing this video, I noticed that I had noticed their records have been around for quite a while, since the 90s. And if I checked them out, it was probably in a situation where I was not taking my time, because Elephant 9 is a fantastic trio, and it's music that is very organic, and it grows, it grows. 1 second. Just getting going here. They sent me the latest. Elephant 9, Psychedelic Backfire 1, Psychedelic Backfire 2 with Rune Fiske. I hope I'm saying his name right. Rune Fiske, the guitarist. Elephant 9 is not associated with Elephant 6 at all. Apples in Stereo and all that. No, that's completely unrelated. This band, I'm pretty sure I can say, is from Norway, like the label. The label is out of Norway. And they have a bunch of records out. These are the latest. These new 2 records are live recordings. Yesterday on Facebook, I posted a picture of these saying, or was it the day before, where I posted that I'm checking out this new stuff from Rune Grammofon. And I got a response back from an associate, someone who I've not met, but we're friends online, who is in the audience at, I believe, this show. One of these shows, these were recorded earlier this year in January in Oslo, Norway. Per Iver Stubrud, I believe is how you say his name. And he's bought my music. He's bought records from me. My stuff, which, I appreciate. But he shared with me how good the show was and that he's in the audience. And I'm glad I took my time in approaching these recordings, because it's, like I said, it's an organic thing. And the way they do their music is it tends to start slowly. Not all of it, but a lot of pieces start off kind of slowly, and they build, and it's kind of like it's a place, it's music to live in. Now, I did some more homework getting ready to review these by looking them up and watching them online a little bit, and that made it even better, because it's a 3-piece. Oh, Per said he knows the bass player. Isn't that cool? Small world, isn't it? I love that. So when I watched the live clips it's real. You can see where these guys are just into playing this music. It's like it's a place that they inhabit. I like that idea that good music that is beyond entertainment is a place to live in, an environment to soak up. And it's led by a keyboardist, who is very good, has his own style, but at times brings to mind Brian Auger. At other times, his style reminds me of the keyboardist who was with Wigwam. Can't call his name right now. But psychedelic fits, even though it's not outwardly psychedelic like woo woo, but more like I said, this atmosphere and the way that they play together so well. They're good players. You can hear that they can play jazz, but it's a rock-based kind of groove that they build. And it's groove is the right word. The drummer builds these very good grooves, and the bass player is right there with him. This music soars. It soars, but it's also very intense. Rune Grammofon, who's a guitarist of note, you folks look him up. Reinefiske, Rune Grammofon. He fits right in, and his guitar playing isn't showy at all. It's another component of this blend that's fantastic. There's a couple of tracks where they start off real fiery, almost like Mahavishnu Orchestra. So this is killer. Highly recommended. And I also noted that Kim Horthoy is the primary graphic designer for all their records. Now that name first came to my attention years ago because that person also makes electronic music. That's how I first heard of Kim Horthoy. Highly recommend this. Elephant 9, Rune Grammofon as a label. I highly recommend. I would love to do more reviews. I'd love to hear more of what the label is putting out. He sent me this other CD, which I'm still absorbing, but I can also recommend this. But it's like it's a new musical voice for me. It's the Hedvig Molstad Trio. Smells Funny is the name of this CD. It's a trio, guitar, bass, and drums. I didn't look them up, but I'm going to assume that they are also Norwegian. Hedvig, she is she's got her own style. I listened to this and then I watched some. She doesn't remind me of anyone. A little bit Terry Ripdahl, but I think mostly what I'm responding to is there's a cry and there is a soul in the sound, and perhaps it's the sound of the Nords. Perhaps it's the kind of like how America really relates the sound of the pain of the blues to the black experience. Perhaps this is their version of that cry of pain that I hear in the music. This I'm still absorbing, but I can also recommend this. Hedvig Molstad Trio. And I can actually just very confidently recommend the label Rune Grammofon. They're doing great things. Thank you for sending me that music, sharing it with me. I want to do a pull, but I want to just kind of go naturally. What's going on? Because a lot of things are on my mind. I haven't spoken socially in a while, and it's almost like there's no point, because it's like the way things are going is the way they're going, and nothing I say is going to change anything, is it? So Anthony Ferraro, bless you, Anthony, because I know you watch me. He sent me more music, and I wrote to him saying, well, I got to figure out something to send you. And he says, no, I just love the feeling of giving music away. He sent me this deluxe version of Defector by Steve Hackett, who I love. Steve Hackett, who was in Genesis, guitarist. This is a 3 CD reissue of the album. I've barely had a chance to play it. Now, of course, I have the original on vinyl, and I bought the CD when it was released on CD back in the 90s. This is wonderful. I love Steve Hackett, and I also am really happy for Steve Hackett, how he is probably receiving now the most commercial success he's ever had as a solo artist. I'm really happy to see that for him. Really happy. And he's got, I believe this is his second or third wife, and they post on Facebook all the time. They look really happy. I'm happy for him. And that reminds me, I just see on Instagram where Stephen Wilson of Porcupine Tree just got married. That really caught my attention, you know. I'm happy for him, but I'm curious to see how this affects his output. I can predict that Stephen Wilson, if he's found the love of his life, may stop making music the way he did. I can see that real easy. Love does weird things. It's instant family too. There's 2 children already. The woman has 2 kids already. They don't look like they're his. Worth mentioning. Anthony Ferraro also sent me this brand new release by Marco Minnemann, the amazing drummer from the Aristocrats, and he's played with everyone. I've seen him with the Aristocrats. He played with Stephen Wilson, among others. I got to meet Marco and get a couple selfies with him. I got to talk to him. German cat. When I met him, he really comes off like an American, but he's German. My first impression of this is surprise. Obviously, his drumming is all over here, and it's really good, but the focus of this is the songs and the lyrics. I got to talk about that before I forget about lyrics, okay, because someone asked me about words, and I will contradict myself. Words are important, but it's not what I'm listening for. His drumming is all over here, and it's amazing drumming. He uses a lot of different people to interpret his songs vocally, including Doug Pinnick of King's X. No, I was never a fan of King's X. I've never bought their records. And the other person who stands out on first listen is Alex Lifeson of Rush, plays guitar on here, on a track in particular. It's great. Thank you. Marco Minnemann. My Sister is the name of this. Also of note is there is no label or catalog number anywhere on. Let me make sure. Now let me look on the discs. No, this is interesting. There's no label or catalog number anywhere on the discs. Self-released, obviously. That's kind of interesting and cool. Also kind of makes sense that at this point, you know, that people will, you know, really, what's the point of the catalog number, really? Just put it out. Recently, I had said again where music is the main reason why I listen to music, and it's not lyrics. It's not that lyrics are not important. Of course they're important. It's not that I don't listen to lyrics, but that's not what draws me in. It's not. Are there any songs where the words are really important to me? Well, yes. One that comes to mind right away is Wallflower by Peter Gabriel off of the Security album. I've seen Peter Gabriel probably about 6 times live, and I've seen him perform that live twice, and it just brings tears to my eyes. I relate to the words very personally. Very personally. It can be talking about prisoners of war. It can also be talking about people who are locked away in insane asylums. I just really relate to those words. But it is not the words that will make a difference to my overall impression of music. The music is damned important. Someone mentioned Blonde on Blonde. Well, of course, there are all these records where the words are what it's about, but that still doesn't make any difference to me. That's not what I listen for. I have a copy of Blonde on Blonde by Bob Dylan. Really, kind of to have it as part of my my collection. But do I ever listen to it to try to enjoy it or to get deep into the words? Not anymore. Not anymore. It's really hard to listen to them. Okay, I'll do a poll, but let me show you a couple things I've been playing, because I don't mind giving too much information. So as you know, I recently finally got on Social Security, so now I have a living income. As a result, I've been having mental changes. I've been house cleaning, and for the first time I've taken things and gotten rid of them. Like clothes that I used to wear for work. It's like it's real. No, I'm not going back to work. A lot of stuff that I've just been accumulating, thinking I'll eventually use it again. A lot of it turns out, was related to going back to work. And been donating it to the Goodwill. As a result, I got into the closet. Two of my closets are just full of records and stuff. And with the idea that, well, maybe I can do another purge. I'm really liking what I have, but so these records were pulled out of the closet because I said, well, I want to hear this stuff. Fairport Convention is a band that it would seem unlikely that I would have any interest in them. It's modernized English folk music. The songs are stories, mainly stories, but it's the music. I really like this band, Fairport Convention. I like the cadence and the syncopation between the drums, the guitar, and like a lot of times, and the bass and the drums and the mandolin. In relation to the words, it's dun 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 dun. That's how it's this kind of feeling that I like. I like it a lot. Full House. Really enjoy this album. I like them a lot, and I also listened to this all the way through. Angel Delight. Yeah, I really like this music. It might seem odd that I really like an English folk rock band, but Fairport Convention are great. And this one I like even more. And this is a concept album about Babacom Lee. It's a story about this figure in history. But even then, it's the music. There's a particular song in here where they go, "Dream." I just love it. I still don't know what they're talking about because it's the picture of the music. But Fairport Convention, I love them. I haven't got to this one yet, but I also have this. Well, I've got a few more by them actually because I really like this. Unhalf Bricking. This is a nice old island pressing of it too. Yeah, I like this stuff. It might seem odd, but I do. I like that music a lot. In talking about people who've passed away recently, it did escape me to mention Daniel Johnston. I don't have any of his records, but friends of mine, I know people who knew Daniel. A friend of mine who's friends with Jad Fair and Daniel Johnston. He might have recorded with them. I don't actually know this, but I forgot to mention him. But someone else, some other people who died, Gary Duncan of Quicksilver. I pulled this out of the closet to play. I've kept several Quicksilver records. John Cipollina was a direct influence on my guitar playing. His vibrato just really captivated my ears as a kid and made a greater impression on me than Eric Clapton. And that's important because at the time everyone was saying Clapton is God, but I was hearing this guy. But Gary Duncan of this band passed away recently, so I have this out to play. I was in the closet. Like I said, I'm out of room. somewhat in response to, I think Garrett is his name. He's been asking me about new age music, and it's like, I ain't feeling it, brother. You know, I'm not. But this, you came to mind, and this happened honestly. I'm in the closet digging for records, and this record came up. Ralph Illenberger, Circle. It's on the Narada Equinox label. You had mentioned the Narada label. In recent times, this year when I had the sale earlier, and I was going through records, and I ended up dumping quite a few Narada records because I would put them on and listen to, I'm not going to listen to this again. This is squeaky clean, but to the point of being treacle. You know, basically shit. This, however, starts off real good composition. And the second piece on here is more of that dank bullshit that I call new age music was. It was like wallpaper shit. You know, it was like some kind of plot to make people brainless. Not healthy music. So that's why I got rid of them. You know, when I play them and I hear, and it's like, I'll never play this again. But this one was good. Circle by Ralph Illenberger. What else did I pull? From the closet. Well, I haven't played it yet. But I pulled this because I haven't played this in so long. The Nice. Elephant 9 brings to mind the Nice as well. This really jams. Let me come back to them. They really jam out. And the guy can really play the keyboards. I mean, you know, he really can, you know. But I pulled this I haven't played this in ages. So I pulled this to play. To show the label, I've always dug the label Immediate. When it first came to my attention back as a kid, I just liked that pink label, Immediate. Okay. All right. So let me do a quick pull before I go because it's past the 20-minute mark, okay? So there's records all the way over here in a whole another, see, yeah, those. So I'll pull from there, okay? I'm not looking. What did I get? What did I get? Renaissance novella. I love Renaissance. Annie Haslam. You know, they started out by out of the Yardbirds. Keith Relf. When he quit the Yardbirds, he started the band Renaissance with his sister. He only made one album, and then it was taken over by another guy. Love this band, and I like this album. As you can see, it's ring worn because at the time these records were coming out, it's the 70s. This is 1977. My close circle of friends that I spent a lot of time with were also music lovers, and we all had a love of Genesis, Renaissance, King Crimson, stuff like that in common. And so this was our party music. Okay, back over here, right down here, okay, because this is where I got the Monk. But what else is down here by Monk? The M's, what else? What do we have? West Montgomery, Monk, Montgomery, West Montgomery. There was no one like Wes Montgomery before him or after him. He played with his thumb, his phrasing, just beautiful. I love Wes Montgomery. Several albums over here. He was gone way too soon. I forget how he died, but he died way too young. Fantastic. Surely you all know about Wes Montgomery. Okay, let's go up again, up over here. And I'm trying, oh, did I grab a 10-inch by chance? I think I did. I think I grabbed a 10-inch. Some 10 inches I did. Okay, this will be a challenge, okay? Entrave Étouffement from Australia. Now this goes back to my days when I was interested in industrial music, electronics, dark stuff. I was absorbing it, trying to find out what's really going on in this world. And I've kept this one. This is got some early stuff by Severed Heads. Okay. And then the other band that I knew at the time was Scattered Order. It's a double 10-inch. And a sign of the times back then, coming out of industrial music, were the graphic look, where they would layer all kinds of graphics, and some of the stuff would be graphic images. This one doesn't look too graphic, but I don't remember what this sounds like. But I kept it. Obviously, I like it enough to keep it. But this is another one I just pulled, the 10-inch pile. These are friends of mine from Lincoln, For Against. Jeff Runnings lives in Omaha now, leader of the band, and we talk all the time. This is a 10-inch Tibet, what's the name of it? In the Marshes, okay? On the Independent Projects label. Bruce Sliker, who runs this label still, is a friend of mine online. We talk about records weekly, numbered. Back in the day, my band, For Digital Sex, we played many shows with this band, with For Against. They opened for us at least once for a big show of us. Love this band. Precursors to dream pop and shoegaze. They're from Nebraska, and they, in my opinion, are in the big league. Historically, when you talk about that music, For Against should be included. Back here, okay? What do we got right here? Oh, wow. The Stench Band, another record that I have a connection to. This is a collectible record from Nebraska. The Stench Band were around 1971 to 73. Pray for the Fred, okay? I used to go see these guys play when they do free concerts in the park when I was a teenager. And their big deal was they were very much influenced by Frank Zappa, the Mothers of Invention, and Captain Beefheart. And they're good musicians, they are. Chuck St. Lucas, there's a bit of unfortunate water damage on this. But Chuck St. Lucas, the guitarist, is a friend of mine. I DJ'd his wedding. We're still friends. I played shows with Chuck St. Lucas as part of Patio Furniture. This is worth looking for. If you can find it, I think it'll be hard to find a copy of this. But like I said, the references are, especially Captain Beefheart. Pray for the Fred. Stench Band. Okay. 28 minutes. I need to stop here because I don't want this to take too long to upload. There's always more I want to say, but I think the main thing I want to say is let's be focused on what we have in common with one another. The divisions that are really causing havoc all over the planet are made up. They're made up. We're all one. We're all one. One love.